Greetings and salutations, loyal viewers of this channel. My name is Sean, and today I want to talk about an exchange that Cenk's nephew had with his uncle, where they discuss different creators that are attacking the Young Turks, and how Cenk felt betrayed by his nephew, because his nephew was so quick to leap to defend those people, but for some reason he would never defend him in that similar way, despite the fact that the only reason Cenk's nephew is a notable person is because he got his jumpstart at his uncle's company. He was able to use that to siphon off his initial audience on Twitch, and then he grew the audience from that base of TYT support. Now, I find this interesting for a number of reasons, because for some reason, Cenk seems surprised. I understand why he's annoyed, but he seems surprised by this, despite the fact that Cenk's nephew has shown that he knows no loyalty, he knows no respect, and he constantly betrays his friends in order to satisfy leftists that he just does not have the same connection with. So that's what we're going to talk about today. The absolute cowardice and disloyalty of Cenk's nephew, because I find it to be fascinating. Now, we're going to get into this, but before we do, I want to thank everybody who supports this channel via actualjusticewarrior.com/join.
Give me the money. Give me the money. Okay?
No, you're trying to...
So the minute we said the most reasonable things on earth, which you now agree with apparently, then what happened? It wasn't just the 13 douchebags online. And by the way, everybody said, no, those 13 douchebags represent all the left. You're not on the left anymore because the 13 douchebags control the left. And then what happened next? Then Majority Report jumped in, and Lance from the Serfs, and all the other little dirtbags jumped in, and they were like, no, Cenk and Anna are turning right. The 13 douchebags are right. We need to protect every trans person should get free surgery. We got, even in China, even though we have nothing to do with China, we hate them, they're Nazis.
You got to, okay.
I mean, I'm 100% right. Every dirtbag show did it.
You got to calm
down. Every dirtbag show did it. Tell me I'm wrong.
There's a great line in Game of Thrones when Arya Stark is talking to Tywin Lannister in Harrenhal, and Tywin asks Arya, what killed your father? And Arya looks him dead in the face, mean mugs him, and says, loyalty.
What killed him?
Loyalty.
Well, to be 100% clear, no person on God's green earth would ever mistake Cenk's nephew for Ned Stark based on the fact that he constantly turns his back on people at the drop of the hat in order to praise the leftist mob.
I mean, as in they think, oh, the young people watch Hassan, he's cool. And you give the thing of like, oh, no, trans people are right on everything, right? You don't come out and make the distinctions that Anna and I made. Okay, so they think, oh, no, he's good. He's extreme as we are.
I think
he's woke left. Yay, extremeness.
I think the reason, first of all, you're...
Okay, by the way, Majority Report and all of you guys, you better attack him. He apparently agrees with me. Okay, you better attack him. You're not going to attack him, are you?
You're
Get the fuck out of here.
You're hyper personalizing this into like criticisms that you've
comes
received.
And punches you in the face 12 times, and you go, whoa, what? Why are you hyper personalizing it?
Because
just because I called you a Nazi, now it's personal to you.
Now, to be clear, what makes this even more embarrassing than the rest of the lefties who bend the knee to the mob, who capitulate to the woke, is that Cenk's nephew has no reason to do this. Cenk's nephew has FU money, but the thing is, he's too cowardly to ever say FU. All he does is capitulate and kiss the feet of radical leftists and betray friends that he's known for over a decade, family, colleagues, and this is a pattern that we've seen time and time again, and now Cenk is seeing it clear as day and calling out his nephew on this. Now, let us get into the clip that started off the inspiration for this video.
People see clips out of context.
I know, but what do? They see clips on douchebag shows who are purposely misrepresenting our position and pretending that we're against all trans rights. So your position to that is surrender, okay? And no, I never surrender. So look, and here, let me explain why, though. Why do I think that's surrender? Because we've tried this, Haas. So let's, on that meta conversation, so we tried it with Trump. So Young Turks viewers will remember, in the beginning, when he first started running in 2015, I thought he was so illegitimate that he was doing it as a con, which, by the way, turned out to be wrong.
Who?
Trump. And we blurred out his face. First we didn't show him, then we blurred out his face, and then eventually we gave up and started showing who he was. Ignoring the beast never works. So then I remember when...
But these people are not the beast.
Hold on, let me finish the point. When Dave Rubin came out and started lying, 100% lies, lie after lie after lie, we ignored it because we're like, what, that's fucking mental, right? But then the lies started to take root because he goes on Joe Rogan, and Joe Rogan's like, "Oh, really? Tell me more. Oh my God, Dave Rubin's so right." And then he went on like 100 shows. And so then Ben Shapiro and Daily Wire comes up, and we're gigantic, and Crowder comes up, and we're like, "Oh, these are pimples on our ass. Who cares about Shapiro? He's so small. Crowder, who cares? He's tiny. He's microscopic. Who cares, right?" And we didn't address them. And you know what happened? They festered and festered and festered. And next thing you know, Dave Rubin, everybody started to think, "Oh, I wonder if he's right about the Young Turks and they have some evil, nefarious purpose or something." Then we started fighting back and we crushed that mother. Now he's a laughing stock. So whenever anybody thinks of Dave Rubin, they're like, "Oh yeah, he's that dumb guy," right?
Yeah, but that's not because of you. That's also because of Majority Report, ironically enough. And people like myself.
I know. When we fight back, everybody gets their feelings
the point
hurt.
is, it's not...
It's
not just
it's
you.
never us.
So this is in the trans rights section of the conversation that Cenk Uygur had with his nephew. And of course, Cenk's nephew holds all the most ridiculously stupid positions on this particular issue, like the fact that he believes that trans women, aka biological males, should compete and dominate females in female sports, and that the left should just say we're in favor of this, but then refuse to engage with this despite the fact that it's politically toxic for them. Among the other absurd positions that he took in this particular part of the conversation is this idea that the Trump ad, the they-them ad, which was polled and tested to be the most effective ad of his campaign, was somehow not effective. And the reason why it was not effective is because Andy Beshear, who is a governor of Kentucky, doesn't run against the trans stuff, and he wins in Kentucky. Now, of course, that has much more to do with the fact that Andy Beshear expanded Medicaid in the state of Kentucky, and he's popular for other reasons, but Cenk's nephew lives in unreality, so of course he is not only going to defend these insane transist positions, but he's also going to attack Cenk and Ana Kasparian for pointing out that these are insane positions that aren't going to help them at all.
We never get any credit. We only get discredit.
The reason why I'm bringing up Majority Report and myself in this process is because ultimately, we are all aligned on virtually every single issue. So in many respects, you feel chastised individually. You feel like you've been outcast by the left or whatever, like the media representation of the left is.
They're not the left. I'm the left.
Okay.
No, 100%. And you agree with that.
Okay. Please, just listen.
No, because we have to.
But you're not the singular force.
The idiots are making everyone think they are the left. They're like, we're the left. We're the real left. Okay, we are super extreme. We want free surgeries for every criminal. Yes, we're the left. And oh, Nazi. And Huss, what happens? People think they are the left. So if you say you're right, Cenk, those are the extreme idiot left.
I don't
and
think
you
that
are
they're
the
the
left,
extreme,
then I'm okay.
No, I don't think those are the extreme idiot left. I think that there is going to be a diversity of thought in any issue that people have. And it's a matter of who you make your enemies in the finite amount of time that we have on the space, the finite amount of time that we have, living on planet Earth. It's about the economy of time and utilizing it appropriately. I don't spend any time. I do not spend any
just
time.
Let him attack you and sit there and don't correct anything. Let all the lies fester.
So right now, Cenk is talking about all the different various attacks that he has fielded from these different people. And Cenk's nephew's position is that Cenk and the Young Turks should never respond to them. They should just bend the knee, admit that they're wrong, and take it on the chin, despite the fact that these people are going out of their way to defame Cenk Uygur and Ana Kasparian. And by the way, this is a consistent position that he's held. We're going to talk about somebody that he defended after they viciously attacked and deliberately lied about Ana Kasparian, which is just more proof positive that he's a coward. But I just want this conversation to run a little bit because they mentioned Dave Rubin right there, and Cenk's nephew says, oh, but he's a right-winger, so you can attack him. But the Majority Report, they're left-wingers, so you're not allowed to attack the Majority Report because they're on the left wing, and that would be wildly inappropriate.
Wait, you didn't let me finish. So Dave Rubin, now he's a laughingstock. Then Jimmy Dore comes in
because Dave Rubin is a right winger.
Yeah.
Majority Report is not.
So you're saying
you are in agreement with the Majority Report.
No. Hold on. Let me finish the thought. So on Jimmy Dore, he comes in and goes, "Oh, they're paid by Nancy Pelosi. They're paid by the CIA." Lunatic, right? And so we let it fester. Finally, we're like, "Get this out of here!" And we tell the people truth, and we crush him. Now he's a joke on the internet, right? So we go on, and anytime we don't fight, it festers. Anytime we do fight, we crush them and we move the on, and nobody thinks Jimmy Dore's the left anymore. Nobody thinks Dave Rubin's the left anymore.
Now, need I remind you guys that when they were discussing Anna Kasparian and her issues with crime, they were talking about how people like Anna Kasparian get titillated by the idea of being victimized by criminals, despite the fact that Anna was sexually assaulted.
But it's you're right, Bender, but it's also people like get titillated by it, to be honest with you, that haven't experienced it before.
So the majority report who he defends engages in the dirtiest, nastiest, lowest tactics against a woman that he's known for over 10 years, that's worked for Cenk for nearly 20 years, his uncle who jump-started his career, who is obviously somebody who he should be thanking, and he's like, no, the majority report, that's a sacred cow, you have to protect them. Now, it's going to get significantly worse. Let us just move a little bit further throughout this.
And so now, these guys come and attack us, going, yeah, we're the real left. There's a
difference,
and you're saying, no, don't crush them. Just let them fester and people pretend that they're the real left. No, we don't do that. If you're going to say stupid and you're going to try to punch us in the face, we're going to punch you back, not on our behalf, on behalf of Democratic voters who you are lying about. The Democratic voters do not agree with you. They agree with us. So sad day for you, and I'm not going to let you lie and pretend that the Democratic voters are on your side, because you're a liar, and they're not on your side.
So look, obviously Cenk is yelling, obviously Cenk is getting unhinged in this moment, but the substance of what he's saying is absolutely 100% correct, and I've experienced this kind of nonsense in my own time on the internet.com. People will crop up out of nowhere, they'll level insane criticisms at you, they'll lie about you, they'll smear you, and then if you attack them back, all of a sudden, you're a big channel attacking a little baby channel, even though when I was a smaller channel, this was not something that I was ever concerned about. I was never afraid of the size of somebody's audience because I knew I was in the right and I was willing to face and confront anybody at any audience size based on the arguments. But Cenk's nephew is doing this thing where he's defending all these people who attack the Young Turks. Some of them are smaller streamers, not the majority report, who again has, I think, over 1 million subscribers. So they would be considered on a reasonable level with TYT. And he's like, oh, don't waste any time attacking them or anything like that. They're just small people chirping at you, and you know, they're gonna play the victim when you attack back, and you should just deal with that. That is an absolutely cowardly move. It caters to these people, and I am not about that kind of energy. Again, if you make a video response to me and I see it and it's stupid and I think it's hilarious, there is a chance that I will respond to you. There is a chance that I will dissect your stupid video and I will make fun of you while doing it.
Completely and utterly unproductive conversation to have.
Your strategy is when grifters on the left attack you, whether it's
I don't think
Rubin,
they're grifters.
I think Cedar's a grifter.
I disagree.
Okay.
Now, this is the moment right here that I found hilarious because Cenk calls Sam Cedar a grifter, and to be 100% clear, this is the lowest form of criticism. I'm actually 100% against Cenk in this regard, just like I'm against everybody who's labeling everyone a grifter, and the reason why is because that doesn't address the points. If you want to say that somebody who's arguing against you is not even believing their own positions, that's perfectly fine, but that still does not overcome your responsibility to be able to refute those positions. Again, the person who has this 100% right is Ann Coulter, who is often being tagged with accusations that she doesn't believe the things that she says, and Ann Coulter responds to these accusations by saying, look, I'm successful, more successful than you, saying the things that I don't believe. So what does that say about you and how terrible you are in arguing for what you do believe? I think that is the appropriate response to these allegations, or as the super mayor would call them, alizations.
False alizations and not facts.
And I just don't like this whole line of reasoning or whatever, where everybody's a grifter, nobody believes anything, everybody's a bad person, and oh my god, their grift is so grifty, or whatever. So Cenk right here, I think you could argue against him on those grounds. That being said, Cenk's nephew's defense of him, rather odd considering he never defends his uncle.
Completely and utterly unproductive conversation to have.
Your strategy is when grifters on the left attack you, whether it's
I don't think
Rubin,
they're grifters.
I think Cedar's a grifter.
I disagree.
Okay. Oh, by the way, so now all of a sudden you're defending Cedar. When he calls me a grifter, you don't defend.
First of all, I've never heard him call you a grifter.
He's called me every name in the book.
Okay.
He's a low rent grifter.
Stop.
Okay, no, I'll tell you. I'll out him right now. When we were in Vegas together, when we were in the same network, he starts attacking Jimmy Dore, and I say, hey, cut this shit out. I agree with you, not Jimmy, but you're attacking him in a way that is over the top and totally unnecessary and counterproductive. And you know what Sam said to me? Sam said, oh, well, he has a bigger audience than me. So if I do that, I'm going to siphon off of his audience. You know why I siphon off? Oh, because I am right and he is wrong. And the audience deserves to hear my truth. So he's doing the same thing to us.
Agree.
Now, look, again, I don't know how Cenk is phrasing this conversation or anything of the sort. And to me, the term grifter is not actually applicable here. The term propagandist is far more suited to Sam Seder, because a bunch of these people have said that you should avoid talking about issues that hurt the left, even if they're true. That, to me, is much more crucial than the conversation about whether or not he's doing it for money or whether or not he's successful in other aspects of his life. So unlike many of us, he doesn't need to do YouTube for money. That is a totally different conversation. It's not something that I'm all that interested in. But what I do find interesting is that Cenk's nephew immediately leapt to the defense of Sam Seder of the Majority Report. And then, in addition to this, to prove his disloyalty, to prove his scumbaggery, he then called into the Majority Report and referred to Sam Seder as his real uncle.
Thank you for having me. I love the Majority Report, and it's unfortunate that my real uncle Sam Seder was not on today, but Emma, you're doing a great job.
Now look, I'm not saying you can't disagree with your family members, to be clear about that, but to go out of your way to bend over backwards to provide comfort to the enemies of your family members, to people who are going after them in all these different ways, to people like Sam Seder, who immediately did a segment where they were making fun of Cenk for being sponsored by Polymarket, implying that he was a grifter and that he'll take money from anyone, to me is a cowardness beyond all reason.
Yeah.
So,
Live from the Polymarket studio in LA.
I understand. I understand that they were sponsored by.
Well,
by Polymarket.
you're a grifter, apparently. That's the thing. Is look, I've worked at both.
I live
places.
this way. I'm willing to put a bet on a overseas betting market.
Yes.
I'm willing to put a bet that he won't invite me on to discuss this.
Now again, Cenk's nephew doesn't have to do this. He doesn't have to go out of his way to stab his uncle directly in the back, but he does that because that's who he is, a coward to his core. And a perfect example of this is the whole controversy around the birthing person thing, which you'll remember a bunch of lefties did a stream called the Leftist Mafia stream, where they attacked Anna Kasparian for being white and therefore being a Karen. And a perfect example of these baseless, vicious attacks is this woman, Oleami, whatever the hell her last name is, it doesn't matter, who decided that she was going to post clips of Anna reading quotes of people saying the N-word onto her timeline. And by the way, the context of all these clips is that Anna Kasparian was condemning these people who said the N-word with this caption: "Don't you dare call her a birthing person, but she'll gladly call you the N-word. Call you the N-word." That's what Oleyama, whatever the hell her name is, decided that she was going to label Anna clearly and obviously reading quotes of other people who she was condemning saying the N-word. Now this was out there. This was in the public. This is obviously a nasty, vicious smear. So when this was brought forward to Cenk's nephew, when he had to talk about this topic, what did he do? Did he side with Anna Kasparian, who had worked with Cenk for over a decade and a half at the time that this controversy went down? Did he condemn Olay for attacking Anna in this vicious way? By the way, weaponizing race and lying about it in order to do so? No, he worshipped Olay.
Now, I love Oleemi. I think Oleemi is great. I'm excited to have her on the broadcast. Hopefully, eventually.
Again, as this woman is going out of her way to viciously attack Anna, and by the way, you could see some of the tweets of her going after Anna that Cenk's nephew has on screen at the time. He's like, I love Oleemi. I want her on the broadcast. She's so swell. The way that she defamed Anna Kasparian, somebody that I used to work with, somebody that my uncle still works with, and she went out of her way to do so over, again, a tweet related to the term birthing person. I just love that so hard about her because Cenk's nephew is a coward coward who, again, has no loyalty at all whatsoever. Now, of course, one of the absolute most obvious examples of this is the fallout of Leftovers, his fallout with Ethan Klein.
I just want to say that this guy's a fucking evil piece of shit for saying that.
Can I ask you a question?
Can I finish? Let me finish the video.
We'll finish this, but I do have a question for you because I think you're going to agree with something I'm about to say.
Yes. Let's just finish it and then we'll talk.
Invaded the United States, and they said, you know what? Cincinnati, Ohio is our ancestral home, and everyone knows that's blatantly false. But they take your home, they murder your grandma, they bulldoze like your neighbor's house. Are those people civilians there? No, they're occupiers, and those are criminals. That is, there are no civilians there in the illegal military occupation.
Yeah. So that's number one.
I mean, that's so callous. It's kind of hard to even believe just how flippant he can be about calling babies militants that are deserving to be killed.
Now, to be clear, Ethan Klein is like 95% on board with Cenk's nephew when it comes to the Palestinian issue. He's totally in the tank for these people. He is willing to throw his own wife's nation of origin under the bus, Israel, for Cenk's nephew, but that's not good enough. The fact that Ethan wanted him to, condemn the rampant anti-Semitism in his own community that was attacking Ethan as somebody who is the co-host of Cenk's nephew, nope, no way. He didn't give any ground to him at all whatsoever and hung him out to dry for those people. And even when he asked him to condemn the people calling for the murder of everybody in Israel, Cenk's nephew said, no, screw you, you're the problem.
By the way, I'm not even defending I'm not even I'm just trying to tell you guys how it feels. And I'm fucking shocked that you don't care that people in your chat are saying, who the fuck is this child cold, arrogant?
Ethan, I love you, but there's only so much I can do.
How can you be surprised when your Discord is literally full of fucking
Ethan, I love you, but there's only so much I can do if you're making that argument. You know that, right? Like, at a certain point, you're an adult, and the words that you're saying are going to be perceived by people in a certain way. I can't constantly tell my community to shut the fuck up, which I have, and I think they should. But at the end of the day, it's because I know you personally, and I think your heart is in the right place. But they don't know, so it's hard. It's hard for people to view what you're saying beyond your words.
I'm just telling you the perspective. You disagree. That's it. I mean, what the fuck do you want from me?
Okay. But do you get where I'm coming from?
Again, he called Ethan his friend over and over and over again on all these different various streams, but when he just asked him to see his perspective, when he just asked him to tell people to chill out, he ended up blaming Ethan for the community that he weaponized to hate Jews, hate Israelis.
And there are baby settlers as well. But there are baby settlers as well. There are babies in the settlement.
And said that he was responsible for the condemnation that he was receiving from those people because Cenk's nephew will never back anybody. He will betray you immediately. The greatest thing he has in common with a communist is not the fact that, of course, he is an elite himself. He is extraordinarily wealthy. He would never subject himself to the terms in which he wants to enforce on society, but also the fact that he will betray you at the drop of a hat because that's who he is to his core. Disloyal, cowardly, and weak through and through. And that's really what I want you to take home from this particular video. If you're friends with this guy, just wait for the moment when it's slightly inconvenient for him to be friends with you and see what he does. But you know what? Those are just my thoughts. I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. If you like this video, show them by leaving a like, subscribe for more content, follow me on the social media, support me via support links in the description of this video. This has been me talking about Cenk's nephew going full traitor. Till next time.